Well, welcome to my channel Mispronounced Adventures. My name's Alex and welcome to the first video of the new van build. And this is Yeti, my Ford Transit Mark 8, which is now my old van. But before we say hello to the new van, I want to thank Yeti for all the things it's done. And this channel, from making videos for fun when I was up in Scotland originally building out this van. So one of the first things I'm in the construction site. Until it was eventually finished into a camper van I'm extremely proud of, which I think marries my love of technology and wanting to visit extreme places very well, while still being a multifunctional space. And a thanks for all the adventures along the way. Be that from visiting Dracula's castle in Romania at Halloween, camping on the Adriatic coast, to now what the channel's most famous for is the 4 Arctic winters. From those amazing sunsets, northern lights, driving on the frozen sea, incredible roads, the wildlife, and some of the more entertaining times of a storm throwing that van across a car park like it was nothing. And last winter crashing into a ditch at 50 miles per hour.
That's not ideal.
All the adventures I've been able to have on that trip, from being the most northerly naked person in continental Europe, up in that peninsula next to Nordkap, driving the Nordkap itself 4 times.
It's windy.
Maybe the most northern van doing donuts as well. Walking to the Norwegian-Finnish-Russian border, a 56-kilometre round trip in the dead of winter and camping in the forest and getting found by the Norwegian military. It's 8:30 in someone's time zone. Almost back. That was a fun one. A few mechanicals along the way of alternators.
And that's how you easily remove an alternator from a vehicle.
But that's all been part of the adventure and fixing things in the field. But to me, Yeti's far more than just a machine. And I think I summed it up quite well during one of the Arctic seasons when something I said to camera.
Good job, Yeti. I love my van. And you see a lot of people name their vans. They've got character. Especially self-built vans. So some of them have names for different reasons. And you put so much like blood, sweat and tears into building them. And they've just got a little mind of their own little entity. You just want them to do well. And when they do well and they facilitate you to bloody drive on an ice road, it's just, yeah. I know it's just a machine, but it's my machine and it's awesome.
But Yeti's life with me is coming to an end. I'm going to close that chapter and she's going to hopefully find a new home soon for a new chapter with them. And next up, thank you guys. This channel has grown from nobody watching to now thousands, and even some videos of 500,000 views. And it has really changed my life over the last 5 years. With you guys watching, I'm able to take this van on all those sort of Arctic trips which are fully funded by the income I make off YouTube, and work with tech companies to do reviews of their products and kit, which is also what funds a lot of the adventures and the new van build. But also meeting people out in the public who've spotted me or found me in the Arctic and just come up to me and said hello, they love the videos, or I've inspired them to do something with their camper van, or drive it up to the Nordics. That's the whole reason I started this channel, was to inspire people to get out and use their vehicles in whatever context that might be. If you like Yeti, do consider checking out the dedicated van tour showing all the tech I put in it over the last couple of years. Well then, I guess it's time to show you what I've bought. And there we go. It's bigger than that, I swear. And this is what I've bought. An MAN TGE medium wheelbase, 3180, 4x4, automatic, 2021 plate with 37,000 miles on the clock. But it's not just your ordinary 4x4, it's a Volkstrek build. And for those who don't know, a Volkstrek build, it's an approved MAN UK upfitter where you can bring your own van, or in this case, you can buy the van directly through them, get it spec to your spec, and there's basically a lot of 4x4 upgrades placed upon it, such as replacing all the suspension and a 30mm MAN approved lift kit on it. And this one's come with 17-inch alloys, which I might swap out, and KO2s already installed laser lamps in the grille and integrated directly into the high beam and European legal. But we do know I love my lights, so there might be some more lights going on the front. It also gets under engine protection, AdBlue system protection and guard, rear diff guard, which protects the Haldex 4x4 system, operated rear leaf springs, and some shock guards as well. There's also a few mods in the engine bay, although it's hard to see here. It's got increased height on the breathers for the diff to bring it up to the engine bay. So some serious 4x4 upgrades. Now, one of the important points to bring across for this new build series is I'm going to be making a lot of videos. I'm going to try and do much like I did for the last van build, where I show the why and how I'm going to do things in vehicles. Not just copying other people because they do it, but try to explain the mechanisms behind it. Much like most of my YouTube projects, integrations, dedicated videos and partnerships are a key part of how everything is funded. And this brings me to the first integration of the series, Sterling Insurance. Now, I'm working with Sterling Insurance for a couple of reasons. One, they're insuring me as a camper and conversion, which is good because it's going to be a modified vehicle. But the most important bit for me is to be correct on what I'm insured as. And as soon as you say a content creator to a lot of vehicle insurance companies, they won't insure you or they'll cancel your policy. And I have a few friends who this happened to. Even my partner Jo, when she tried to insure me on her vehicle and she told them I'm a content creator, they flatly refused to insure me as a second driver. Sterling Insurance are insuring me as a content creator as my job, which for me is important because if I wasn't honest about it, potentially, if I had an accident, that would void my policy, and deals like this are what make the channel work. So if you're building a van and you're looking for insurance for a camper and conversion or your camper van, or even Vanlife, because they do some full Vanlife policies. Additionally, Sterling do some interesting locations on their insurance. Whilst I've got my European cover, I can also bolt on with an extra package, Morocco and Turkey. Consider using my link in the description below as that helps support the channel. But that's this integration done. Although I feel this whole content creator thing as a job really hit home at the NEC this year when I was being introduced by a brand I was working with to companies like this.
Although it was painful when she did introduce me to a bunch of these big motorhome brands as an influencer. That was a bit painful. YouTube has grown from this hobby to the majority of my business now, and I wanted to be insured correctly. And that's because my entire adult life I've worked as a freelance expedition leader. And that's pretty easy for vehicle insurance. It's an outdoor instructor on the drop-down menu. And also, it'll be a bit hypocritical if I was knowingly not insured correctly. Some of my historical jobs, I worked in Nepal on behalf of major insurance companies coordinating helicopter rescues and investigating insurance fraud. Fun job that was. Let's get back to the van tour. Let's have a look on the inside. In the vehicle itself, I haven't done anything yet. I picked this up last week. It's still got its original seat protectors on and I don't actually know what sort of upholstery are underneath these seats. But one of the main things, I went for an automatic. Never owned an automatic vehicle before, but lots of the people who have the 4x4 said loving the automatic. So when I found this one came up and it was automatic, I decided to go for it. And so far, I'm really enjoying it. Being the 4x4 model, it's also got diff lock and a traction control button, and it's also got the optional extra of hill descent assist, which I haven't actually used in it and don't completely understand how it works, but that's a learning thing. It's also got an auto stop start, and for me, I love buttons and there's so many blank button spots I can fill. And I love the integration of all this dash system. One of the things I do like is I finally have a vehicle with Apple CarPlay, if it wants to work whilst the phone's recording, I don't know. And I've finally got a CarPlay. So I can even do things like check on my Victron kit, although that is in the other van. Or even check on my eggs playing Pokemon Go. And I kind of like that you can give me loads of other diagnostic bits of what the fan's doing. Gestures. And I think lots of things to play with. And I just did a whole talky bit about showing Apple CarPlay. Didn't realise that when I connect to Apple CarPlay, it stops the recording. And unknown to me, disconnected my wireless mics too, for the rest of the afternoon's recording. It's got standard cruise control and a front radar, so I think I can get active cruise control coded in, because I've got the steering wheel for it. And lots of people said that's quite good, so I might go for that. I've also got a standard windscreen at the moment, and from my understanding, I can get it retrofitted and coded in to have an electric heated windscreen, which would be quite good for the Arctic stuff. And if anyone knows has any recommendations on VW or MAN retrofitters for things like that, comment in the below, could be great to learn. Currently still got the double bench seat in the front, which has got all of the extra space underneath. But much like in Yeti, I'm going to take the double seat out, put it into the back, and that's going to be the seat belted bench seat in the back. And it gives me all that storage space underneath. I do need to get a single seat for it though, so if anyone knows the best place to acquire a single passenger seat for an MAN TGE, please do tell me. But let's look in the back. And standing in the back, it has reminded me how much work it was to build the other van. Now, there is one particular thing which is a problem for me and some other people with the MAN TGE. When you buy the rear-wheel drive or the four-wheel drive version, the floor is 10 centimetres higher, much like the Transits, but the Transits overall are about 10 centimetres higher inside. Me at 6'2", I fit well in the Transit. These ones, on the other hand, not so much, given the curve at the back.
So I'm thinking something pretty drastic is I've seen there's a couple companies which make roof pods. Don't think pop top, think the side flares you usually see on vans on the back areas to make the bed wider. There's a couple companies which do roof pods to make the roof higher, where I'm going to pay someone a lot of money to cut the majority of the roof of my van off to put a pod on it. Those pods can add about 25 to 30 centimetres of extra space, which is a lot. And I've got some interesting plans for the van. Some of them I'm going to be a bit vague about now because plans develop and change over time. But with the roof pod idea, I want to have an electric up and down raising bed, of which I saw quite a few varieties at the recent NEC show, but only the bed disappears seamlessly into the roof during the day, so I can have a sofa area and a bike slide and a big workbench underneath. And at night, at the press of a button, the bed descends, fold out the upper panels. There you go. That's my plan for the bed section. I like multifunctional spaces. Now, let's spin it round the other way. First off, bulkhead. I plan to do the same I did with Yeti, remove the bulkhead, but remake a partition with an insulated sliding door, because personally, I like the privacy that I can just get into the cockpit and drive away and close the door, or vice versa. And also I'm a huge Star Wars fan, and it feels to me like I'm entering a spaceship's cockpit. Also want to have a shower room again, but I don't quite know where it's going to go yet, or the bench seat. But in a later video, we're going to do some CAD, some cardboard design, and we're going to mock up the 3 different layouts I've got in mind and see which one of them feels nice. It's all well and good looking at pictures of vans and measuring, but actually building what you're thinking in that space is probably one of the most important bits. Now, other points is, once again, I want to marry my professional skill set of working as an expedition leader around the globe, going to interesting places, with my vehicle skill set to, in my mind, make the ultimate adventure van again. So it's going to be prepared for the Arctic conditions. We're going to be putting an auto-term engine preheater in and auto-term diesel air heating, probably aircon this time round as well in the back. And whilst lots of things are still up in the air in the plans, one of the main technical points, because this channel was built off doing technical projects, I want to go for a 48 volt system this time round. In later videos I'll explain and talk about why, but I know a few people who have been doing 48 volt systems in vans for a while now, and I can see a really cool amount of merits and bonuses to it, and things it will allow me to do. But that's all going to be later videos explaining why I'm going 48 volt. I'm probably explaining why most people should just go 12. It's also got a tow bar and tow hitch coded in, which I might take off because I don't think I'm going to need a tow bar or a tow hitch, or at least might take off that section and leave the plate. But for the meantime, it's quite a useful step. One of the little things I'm actually quite happy about is it's got LED marker lights. Yeti, when I drive a lot of dark places, you can't see what's up and down the side. That's why I turn the big auxiliary lights in. These marker lights are actually really quite useful when you reverse or doing tight maneuvers at night. Now, one of the things I wasn't too sure about originally was the colour. I love Yeti's dark grey, and I wasn't too sure about the silver van. And I had looked into wrapping and spraying options, but now I've had it for about a week and a half. The silver's growing on me a bit. I think once we get some black windows in, and the roof rack will be black, I think the silver black contrasting colour theme will actually look pretty good. But what are your views on the colour? But overall, I couldn't be happier. I found a unicorn, an automatic 4x4, and it's a Volkstrek version. And I bought it off a lovely guy who I spent a couple hours with going through the vehicle, and he's looked after this vehicle immaculately. Every single invoice and bit of work done in it. I'm very happy that it's had one careful previous owner, and now I've got it. So video schedule wise, from now to the Arctic winter, it's got a lot of work to do. And I'm still hoping to go to the Arctic, probably not with a finished van, but that could be part of an adventure in itself. If you've got any dying questions, feel free to put below. But a lot of videos coming up. I've also launched memberships on the channel a couple months ago, and I've got a couple of people who have joined, whilst I still have my normal polished build videos out every week, or even twice a week if I can fit it in. I plan to put some more raw snaps and video clips of what's going on with the van on the members section, because that's a way that I can give a bit more back. But also make sure, if you're not following the channel already, follow the channel, follow the Instagram, because there'll be stuff on there as well. And if you want to find out more about Yeti, check out all the last 5 years adventuring with that van. I'm very excited. Thank you very much for joining me, and I'll see you next time. Cheers. Bye.